fun fact about Antonio T. Smith Jr. We will be in the office and he will randomly burst out into song. We sit there and we wonder where the song came from. We'll be in the middle of a conversation and he will start singing and it will have nothing to do with the conversation. And when we ask him, he's like, it was just in my head. And the moment he burst out in song, it's stuck in our brains for at least the next week or so. Here's another fun fact about Antonio T. Smith Jr. This episode is brought to you by...
Listen to Pause Impact, Houston's first radio show dedicated to people living with HIV, their friends, and family, every Monday from 7:30 to 9:30 Central Standard Time on Real Talk 100 Radio. You can also find us on all social media under Pause Impact. That's POZIMPACT. And if you happen to miss our show, follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can catch the latest episodes of Pause Impact.
Here's your quick win for this episode. If you got a candle and it's one of those hard to reach candles, and if you put the lighter down there, it'll burn your hand, just go to your cabinet, get one strand of spaghetti, light the end of that hard spaghetti thingamabobby, and then put that spaghetti thing in the hard to reach candle, and then light the wick. You're welcome. Welcome to the Secret to Success podcast. My entire goal with this podcast is to give you value. That is it. I am not interested in you buying from me. If you want to, you can, but that is not the goal here. I do want you to go to the show notes for people that I interview, because I do want you to buy from them or at least follow them. But I'm telling you, I am on a mission to create 100,000 millionaires. This podcast is part of that. Do yourself a favor and get everything that you deserve. Period, point blank. I want you to get that in this podcast, whether it be keynotes from me or interviews from millionaires, billionaires. It doesn't matter, because we can't teach you anything you don't already know. You just forgot because the world made you forget. I love you. You got this. You're going to get this. This is your moment. This is you. Take notes. Listen to me on your commute. I don't care what you do, but this is yours. I do this for you. Like, if you're on a different platform, share it. Subscribe to it. Share this, because there's not many people out here doing this here. Got this. There was business afoot. Business afoot. Maurice, I didn't get to text you today. Where you at, brother?
Right here.
All right, man. All right. Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Yes, sir.
The conversation was so good last week. Alicia hit me up asking more questions. Everybody's asking questions like, hey, I heard you. The Donia's on fire. We talked about real estate yesterday. Nevertheless, brother, let's talk about buying your house or buying your first property without much resources. Let's talk about that. Okay. Who wants to know how to buy your first couple of properties without much resources? Who's got charged up credit cards right now? Help me out, somebody.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Who's got a little maxed out going on? You okay? All right. Got some hands up. You got money, but it's accounted for. You understand what I'm saying? All right. We talking to you. So how can you? At least you say, "Oh, I got questions already." So we're gonna take her question first. I'll let you answer first. We'll make the whole thing about that. And Grace, whatever title I said, she'll write that down. Go ahead, Alicia.
Oh, I was thinking, I'm happy about this subject. I am, and I'm trying to buy real estate. And I see all of these videos where you keep buy money with at home with no money down, and short sales, different contract, and I want to know what to do.
Pardon me, Alicia. I don't know if you can hear Antonio.
Okay, yeah, so I was trying to make sure. Yeah, hey, Alicia, you breaking up. I thought that was just me. I was hoping.
Me too. I thought it was me too.
Okay, yeah. So we'll let her come back. we'll let her come back and ask. I thought I literally was closing tabs and all sorts of stuff. All right, there she go. Alicia, you there? We'll get her to come back in a second. Now, Maurice, last class you mentioned, we touched on this briefly, but we're going to break this down. You mentioned that there's so many resources out there for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Different states that got this down payment assistance, I believe is what you called it.
It was, yes, sir.
Good. So let's break that down again.
Okay.
That'll give Alicia time.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
So in most states, there's going to be, especially in the beginning of a new year, there's going to be replenishment of funds. There's down payment assistance programs in most states. They have state funding that you can go to. And like the two I mentioned for New Jersey, there's about 15,000 in one fund, and you can combine them a lot of times. It can be combined. So often you can get your whole down payment. All you need to do is be credit worthy. As long as you're credit worthy, which haven't, and you can get all of what you need to walk into that property with some down payment assistance programs. I just want to make you aware of some of what the down payment assistance programs are. There's state and then there's local ones. With the crash in 2008, a lot of those banks that got in trouble with all those with the discrimination and all of some of the things, there was a lot of lawsuits that went out. A lot of those lawsuits are coming due now, and they're just now getting paid for them. So a lot of the funding. I'm not going to name banks names, but there were some banks that are in particular that were bought out, and they had a certain amount of money that they had to disperse, and it had to be allocated to certain areas and certain demographic areas. So you can do a search and find what may be available in your area for local banks. What I will do though is I'll get a list of what is available that I do know of, the banks that may have some funding, because some of the areas, some banks are in some areas and some areas they're not. So one of the local banks was bought out by another bank, and their primary location was up in New York. But what happened was the bank that bought them out was a national bank. So those fundings, they had to be allocated, and there were certain areas that they were allocated to. It was that was a local pool of money. That was $20,000 that you could get as a down payment assistance, not including the state funding. So those are some of the sources that you can get resources from that would afford you the ability to be able to not use your own money. So
no, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Do you mind here sometime this week, next week, grabbing a few links that we can post up? Okay, good.
Yep.
Even if you can find a few during this call, that'll work too. Okay. He's going to help you all out of this in the next 7 days to get you some resources, be it links and stuff, so you can learn how to get down payment assistance. Now, let me ask you a question towards that so you can open up more. Do you have to be a first-time home buyer to get this assistance?
Great question. Now, the first-time home buyer thing is and each of those down payment assistance are going to come with different stipulations. Some of this, and it depends. So to be the short answer, it depends on which one it is. And the first-time home buyer, a lot of times it doesn't mean that it's your first time buying. It could mean that you haven't bought a house within 33 months. So as long as you haven't purchased a house within a time period, usually that's going to be 36 months. So it's 36 months. They still consider you fitting that criteria. So it depends on the product, and each of them going to have their own stipulations because it's granted money to you. So they're going to come with stipulations. That's the other part of it. The stipulation may be that you have to stay in that house for 5 years or 10 years, and then it's forgiven. So I don't want it to make it seem, I want be real about it, make it seem like it's money they're given to you. But if you plan to stay in the home, or let me put it this, that you don't sell the home. Let me clarify that. That you don't, if you sell the home within that time period, and I'm gonna have a link for you before we end today of where you can go to get Bank of America's stuff. That one I do is I know it's available, and I'll get that link for you before the end of the class for Bank of America's. And that's what, see, the different banks have different products, especially right now. Wells Fargo, I believe, just released something, if I'm not mistaken. I know it. Wells Fargo just released some down payment assistance funds that are available. But I do know of Bank of America, and I'll get Wells Fargo's for us for next week for you.
No, that's good stuff.
Yeah,
that's good stuff. I'm sure Bank of America and Wells Fargo will appreciate our generosity. Yes, I'm pretty sure of that. Now let me, Alicia, did you want to try to jump back in and ask your question? And then we'll see if we're still in the same area, and then I'll address it.
Yeah, I don't know. Zoom knocks me out and then bring me back in, so I don't know what's going on there. But
it's all right. We can hear you right now.
Yeah.
I want to get in real estate. I don't have much money to invest. I've been watching these people. I buy houses, sell houses, short sales and contracts, different things like that. I want to know how to do it. Being that I am in Memphis, Tennessee, we have a lot of homes vacant, and I'm sure they're out of town investors. And I'm just trying to see how can I do it. I need to retire in less than 5 years. And per Antonio, real estate is the way to gain financial freedom.
Facts.
So I want to know, how can I do it with no money and big profits?
No doubt.
Do you know what the median price, what's the going price? Have you researched to see what the median price, what price points in Memphis? How much does it cost to buy a home in Memphis? We did a class there.
Okay.
How much would it cost if you
we
buy
have areas.
Mm-hmm. So would you say 50,000, 60,000?
What do you want?
Look it up.
What kind of home do you want? Yeah, you can purchase a house for 50,000. It'll be in a certain area. But you could purchase a house for 50,000, depending. It may need some work, but you could purchase a house for as low as 12,000.
So
according to 250,000, it's just
according to Zillow, the medium. Can y'all hear me?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
According to Zillow, the medium.
Yes.
Let me just show you, because I like people to say, "Oh, okay, he's telling facts."
Yeah.
Zillow medium home value in Memphis is $95,405.
Gotcha.
All right, so that's what we're dealing with.
Now, Alicia, you said you want to get into it. You're looking to do it as an investor, get into it from an investment.
Hold on. Let's do this. Let's answer her question in a second.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's answer her question in a second. Let's finish the one you started with, and I'm writing them down, which is down payment assistance. Let's do that. Michelle G, what's your question?
I'm sorry, I'm driving also, so if you hear the noise. It wasn't really a question, it was kind of a statement, because I do know that the various housing organizations, or like from Missouri, it's Missouri Housing and Development Commission.
Exactly.
They do have different grants and different, like he was saying, the first-time home buyers. They have other grants, and then on the city level, they have the Dream Home grant in Kansas City. So my question to that is, how can you really get into that? Because I know that they tend to go more towards developers than individuals. So how can you, get that from them?
That's
Okay.
you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So now you said that there's the development part. Usually, the down payment assistance is more geared towards home buyers. Like I'm looking at Bank of America's website right now, and it says up to $7,500 closing cost help, up to $10,000 down payment help. Qualified home buyers receive 3% of the purchase price. So those are two separate departments. One of the first steps to do is you would reach out to finding out which programs is available in your area. And I guess the biggest question would be, which of them can be combined? Which of them can be combined? So you have down, and usually though, when you find what the state is offering, any bank is able to use that product. So a lot of times what happens is you might have a loan officer that you're working with, or someone, let's say using Bank of America for the sake of using, argument. Let's say if you're working with Bank of America, you're having a pre-approval with Bank of America, and they are going to give you $7,500 or $10,000 down, and you know that the state of Memphis or whatever state you live in has another program. The main thing is you want to find out what are they able to be combined, and then your loan officer, you can let them know, and a lot of times they'll be able to combine that. So if you're already working with that officer or that person, bank or whoever it is, it's been countless times where they'll just go ahead and say, okay, we don't have that product, but thanks for letting us know that it's available, and then they'll use it, and they'll use that product. So really, it's going to be work that we have to do. It's going to be work on you to do the research of it to find what's available in your area. And you give me the state, and I'll definitely look it up and see, because and I can do what I can do on my end, what state. So I know Memphis, and to see what Memphis has, and then in addition to what Bank of America and what Wells Fargo have. I do know that they both of those have strong initiatives to get money into people's hands to make sure that that those hardest hit areas get into homes, because there's a wide gap in Black home ownership and the minority home ownership in those areas. So part of that is designed for that, for the sake of getting, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that brought up another question. So, because I'm kind of like Antonio on this aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I know the single dwelling homes. However, what about multifamily?
You can do up to 4 units on your first one. So I would recommend you going up to the 4-unit max. Get the first one as a 4-unit, because if you're breaking through and you're going to use other people's money and using, that money as down payment assistance money, I would try to find the largest 4-unit, or to maximize it. If it's 2 units is popular in that area, if you can find. But according to what fits that criteria is 1 to 4 unit. Anything above 4 unit becomes commercial, and that's a whole different category. So the maximum that you're going to be able to use that money for is up to 4 units. Yeah.
Okay.
That particular pool of money.
I need to have a one-on-one conversation with you then, because that commercial part of it, I need to know.
Okay.
And we'll definitely talk about it. You ain't got much of a choice to talk about it, because I don't like single family dwellings.
I don't blame you. Because when you ain't got a tenant in there, that's all you.
Yeah, buddy, that is for sure. So you can have a one-on-one conversation. We'll definitely talk about it in here too. Now, before we double back to Alicia's question, or double forward, I should say, I didn't answer that because I don't know nothing about no down payment assistance, because I ain't that type of brother. You understand? Mm-hmm. I just go out and go kill the gazelle. That's just always been my mentality. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I just, I get up and go kill the gazelles. I don't know nothing about that. This is how. Here is a way. 2 of my first properties, I bought one for $1. I told that last week, so I won't stretch that out. But I'll tell you how I did a second one. But I found that what should be said about the one with the dollar, and this is to be for all properties, I found the seller's motivation. You all shouldn't sleep on that. Every seller is motivated. Actually, every seller is motivated by something, but you want to find a motivated seller, and it's easier to purchase real estate that way. For instance, if I was to foreclose on a property or something, it wouldn't bother me at all. Because for one, I wouldn't even get set up into nothing like that before. I mean, again, because I'm too smart for that now. But it just wouldn't bother me because I'm non-emotional about real estate. So if you're trying to come and save me from the face of real estate or face of foreclosure, I'm just not motivated by that. What I would be motivated by is getting back my original investment, because my pride, even though that, I'm not emotional about it, but my pride would bring any emotion, says, well, at least I'm not going to lose money on this investment. Now, I'll never put myself in this situation, but we're just acting as if I did. So it would be better in motivation for me is to find out what did I have in the property, not what I put down to the bank. What do I have in the property? And that would definitely motivate someone like me. Now, of course, that can flip. With each property had different motivations, but nevertheless, find your seller motivation. That's what I said about the dollar property. Here's how I did the second property. It is something that should be written in textbooks. If it's not in textbooks, then it will be soon. If it is, I ain't copying off nobody. It's just crazy. And someone else is out there as crazy as me. I wanted this property, and there were 3 trees in front of it. And I don't know nothing about no trees, Jerome. I don't know. Trees don't do nothing in Texas but give me shade. That is it. And depending on the time of the year, have a lot of spiders. And I don't like that either, right? So it's either shade or spiders. I like the shade. I don't like the spiders. And in my part of Texas, shade, spiders, or roaches, the big roaches, okay? Because we got palm trees type Texas down here. Now, what I did was I drove all the way to Galveston from a city that I was in, and there's a lumberjack company on 45th and something like 0.5. And this company, I said, hey, how much would you like? How much can you come out and get this? I got a deal going on. Can you come appraise this wood and see if you use this? Because by profit, you can use it. I need the down payment, and you can have whatever's left. Ask me how much I needed for the down payment. It wasn't nothing. I was still doing small stuff. I only needed $2,500. Okay. I just didn't have $2,500. Let's be honest here, okay? $2,500 back then was gazillions of dollars. You understand? To me, you know what I'm saying? Back then, gazillions of dollars. So what I did is they liked the trees, and then I did the whole for sale by owner, which is, I love those kind of deals. Did the whole owner financing for sale by owner. Got control of the property. Now I could do stuff with it. I put in a renter, which I'll come back to that here in a second on Alicia's question. And then I let them cut down those trees. They gave me $2,500 and profited something like $1,600 or whatever $16,000, whatever they got. I don't even know what they got. I love to tell you, whatever it is, it was worth it to them to give me my down payment and keep that wood. That's called creative financing. You understand? I don't know about no down payment assistance. That is hot. I know how to see a gazelle and go kill it. That gazelle is running, and I gotta run faster than the slowest gazelle. That's it. I ain't gotta run faster than the fastest gazelle. Just run faster than the slowest gazelle. So hopefully that helps somebody, because that is exactly what I did. I got plenty of more, but we'll go from there then. Alicia, we're coming now to you. Your question was, I erased it. What was it? Oh, how do I retire in 5 years? I'm getting into real estate, and I don't have much, even though you got all that money. You know what I'm saying? Let me look at you. You got a $15,000 blouse on right now. All that money. You know, we know you got that money, right? But nevertheless, so he's sharing his screen. Won't you tell us about what you're sharing real quick before we answer her question, how to retire? Maurice, you unmute yourself and walk us through your screen. Yeah.
My apologies. Okay.
All right. You got whatever speaker you got on.
Yes.
There you go.
So I just wanted to get you to the website to where the down payment assistance would be for finding. That's with Bank of America. And if you go to the bottom of it, and I guess I didn't know I was going to share the screen there. I really wanted to just copy to paste the link to drop in the link to you, but it would have been here, the down payment assistance. And what happens is they have where you can put in your zip code, and you're able to, once you put in your zip code, it'll tell you what programs are available for your area. So that's what I wanted to, I didn't know it was going to share the screen right then and there, but down payment assistance programs, definitely for Bank of America. It'll allow you to plug in your zip code, and those funds will be, they'll tell you what's available dollar-wise in your particular area.
Cool. Sounds good to me. Appreciate you. Now, next time you share your screen, you can show us your social security number and your bank account PIN. We'll appreciate that. Right? We appreciate that. Now, how to retire in 5 years. I'm going to start this one off, and then I'll let you jump in there from a broker perspective, whatever knowledge you got. This is what I would do if I don't, which I'm trying to frame all of this, and we don't have much money to do it, because that's where a question comes from. That's also how we frame this class. First thing I do is try to get my first property. We already covered what you needed, and that was the name of the class, what you need to get started in real estate. We already framed what you needed last class, so we're building up from here. This is what I would tell all of you. Well, excuse me. This is what I did. And this is the honest to God truth. This is what I did. I went into a local newspaper down here called the Green Sheet. It's just a free paper that you can get. They don't even lock the bin. It's just free. It just is what it is. I know people that get a couple of them and then lay them down for the dogs to, do their due in the kitchen floor or something. And I went and looked for sale by owner. So write this down in chat. For sale by owner, owner financing, rent to own. All mean the same thing. You know what? I'll say four of them. For sale by owner, FSBO, rent to own. I'm missing one. I just said it. Owner financing. They all mean I put FSBO as a separate one because you can see it in the newspaper. Because remember, when people put stuff in the newspaper, they give you like 75 characters, or you pay for an ad, right? You got 35 characters to get your message across or something like that. So you'll see it anyway like this. I've never seen it any other way. Maurice, have you seen it any other way? This for sale by owner, FSBO, owner financing, rent to own.
No, maybe distressed properties, estate sales or individuals finding.
Okay. Yeah.
Well,
yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, because that's a lot to addressing the motivation of the seller. Finding the motivated seller, someone that has an estate sale. That's
no doubt. No doubt. I typically would have stayed away from estate sales when I first started off, because now this is opinionated, but when it's an estate sale from where I come from, they want all their money, because it's 9 kids splitting their grandmother's property or they mama's property, and they all trying to cash out. I'm not telling you that's how it work in your community. I'm telling you how it work in mine. Okay? How it works in mine. That's how it works in mine. Now, let's see. Find a for sale by owner, and typically it's $2,500 down, $5,000, something like that, right? I've never really did a for sale by owner that was a lot down, because they're banking They got it. They got the down payment high enough to weed out, some riffraffs, but low enough for someone that's attractive to for sale by owner. And then they're banking on the monthly payments. Their cash flow. It's cash flow for them. Okay, it's cash flow for them. This is what I did. I put $2,500 down, and I rented it out. So please follow these step of instructions, Alicia, as I give them to you. Step 1. Okay, all right. They say, hold on, they right.
Just to mention too, to that,
Go ahead.
to your point, one thing that happens in New Jersey, right? And it's like you said, is real estate is really local, and it's really local in your area. Is really, you want to know what your area is doing. New Jersey has this law that taxes, taxes are the same probably everywhere. Taxes supersede the even the mortgage. So if you don't pay the taxes, they'll take your property for the taxes, even if you got a mortgage on it. So that takes first position. So what they have in the state of New Jersey is if you are behind in your taxes and I pay your taxes for 2 years, there is what's called, I'm able to charge you up to 18% interest or foreclose on you in 2 years. Now, I've seen a lot of people make a lot of money off of that, and do that process. Because they either get their money back plus 18% interest, the taxes. But in that instance, you have to have at least the ability to cover what's owed on the taxes and 2 more years of the taxes.
Right.
So 5,000, yeah. So that's one. If whatever the taxes are, if it's $3,000 a year and they're behind, let's say 1 quarter, you at least at minimum you're going to be paying 6,000 plus whatever they're behind. But you get that property. Free and clear, you can foreclose on that property or 18% on top of what your money is. So it's a lot of niche things that you can do to come up with creative financing, which leads me to the next part of that is researching and finding out who owns the property free and clear. And then presenting what you said to them, hey, I'll give you $2,500 down and they own it free and clear. I research what the rents are. Okay, then I marry it with a tenant and put the tenant in there. And if I'm making a profit, that's a way to get,
And I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. No, I'm glad you said that. Without a doubt, this is step 1. Everything me and Maurice just said. Okay, but I'll break it down to you. Find a property. Okay, that's what we're saying. Okay, find a property. Now he's got some research behind it, right? Market value. We'll get to all that. He said something that, Jerome, how that saying go? How the old folk in Texas said, you put the cart before the horse. Is that how you say it? All right, don't put the cart before the horse. That's how you say it. Okay, young folk, don't go out there and put the cart before the horse. What Maurice said was, then I marry it with a renter. All right, this is very important. Step 2, find a renter. All right. So step 1 was find a property. Step 2 was find a renter. Did I say talk to the person? Nope. That ain't what I said. I didn't say make any phone calls. Sure did not. I didn't say research. You go research the property when you find the property anyway. That's it. So do me a favor. Recopy and paste that, Grace. Put step 1, find the property, and then parentheses, research due diligence. Just put due diligence in there, and that'll cover all those bases. And right after this, Maurice, we're going to talk about tax liens because Kiara put it in the thing, and we'll end on tax liens. So we talk about 3 things effectively today: down assistance programs. Actually, we talked about 4 things: down assistance programs, creative finances, and now we're talking about what steps. Antonio, tell me what to do. Step 1, 2, 3, 4. I ain't trying to think. Tell me what to do. All right, that's it right there. Find a renter. Here's what I'm attempting to tell you, okay? When you find a renter, you are securing your investment. It makes no sense to find a property, buy the property, and then go find a renter. You don't want to be without money for a second. not a nanosecond, not a fraction. You do not, Jerome, go buy the property and say, okay, I'm going to pay the first couple of months' rent until I find someone. You need to go find another mentor, because there is absolutely no reason. Everybody hear me. Do not unhear me. I sound like Adonia's dad right now. Do not ever lose money. Okay? That's why. So I'm saying find a property. The second thing I'm saying is secure your money. So what you're going to do, because the property is going to have an address, actually it probably won't have an address on it. It's going to have a phone number. Once you find a renter, you understand? Now, Antonio, how can I find a renter? I don't know their address. I just need you to get this here. Step one, find a property. And the property's going to say 321 or something like that. 322, 3, 2.5, 1, something like that. Okay, 3-bedroom, 2.5 baths, 1 garage. And then you're going to make a post on Facebook. You're going to get on your phone and say, is there anybody I know looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in this city? They ain't got to see it. You got to get some leads. Well, I am talking in this place. Okay? Now, step 3, call the guy or the girl who got the property. Okay? Now, call them. Okay? Now you're going to call. Let me just pause very quick parenthetically. Can we just all come together and appreciate Pamela Norris? It is 2 a.m. over there. And we can just appreciate Pamela Norris. She got spoiled over Christmas holiday. All that sleeping late. Yeah, that's it. And walking around barefoot. Now she got on shoes and socks and clothes and stuff. I understand. We love her so much. 2020 is a breakout year for what we anyway, let me be quiet for that. Now, that was my parenthetical pause. I just want to give my friend some good props. You're going to now call the property manager. No, Maurice said it a better way. Who owns the title free and clear? Who owns the deed free and clear? That's what you call it. Then you're going to do is you're going to ask whatever questions you want to ask. But the most important question you want to ask is, what's the address? Step 4 is absolutely. Let's to the side. Step 3. So you can put just put step 4. What's the address? You want to ask what's the address? What's the address, kind sir? I'd like to come see it. Step 5, you got some options. You can either go see it yourself, or if you got a serious person from step 2, take them with you. Ask me what I would do. I would do the first thing I said. I ain't taking them with me, because I'm trying to look like the owner the whole time. Help me, somebody. I'm talking. All right. That's step 5. What step did I just give you? All right. Next step. Step 6. This is a thinking step. Realize that you are simply transferring your debt to the renter. Boy, I am talking. I need y'all to hear me. This is why I want to look like the owner. Because now you ain't doing nothing in this step. You just want to come to grips in this step. I ain't taking on no debt. You are. Come on now. That's why I said in step 2, I should have said, find who paying your bills. I know Adonia like that kind of talk, because we were talking about that yesterday. Alicia, in step 2, find out who gonna pay your bills. Do you understand? All right. Because in the due diligence phase, you're gonna know what the price is. You get it? Or they're gonna say it's gonna say, for sale for this much or not. You can find that out in step 2. Now, so step 6, you're just thinking. You're just saying, don't be emotional, Antonio. Your debt is now their debt. Thou shalt not payeth your own debt. That's in a sacred text somewhere. Payeth. You put it just in King James Version too. There you go. Payeth thine own debts. There it is. I like the way that sounds better. That sounded like it came out of Richest Man in Babylon. All right. Now, step 7. Go view the property. And take pictures because they'll let you. And put in here, in parentheses, y'all, act like you can afford it and keep your mouth shut. Don't go there and say, I'm doing the Antonio Smith strategy, man. I can't really. Now, when they ask, can you? I sure can. Sure can. What's the down payment? $3,500. Sure can. Yes, I can. Okay? Because I'm going to tell you what to do in subsequent steps. Get ready, Maurice. I'm going to throw you alley-oop. Okay? Now, what step am I? So step 7, go do the right, take pictures. Then step 8, take those pictures and that energy. Go talk to Alicia in step 2 because she is looking for a 3-bedroom. It's making some sense now, ain't it, Alicia? Because you asked, how do I retire in 5 years? It makes some sense, ain't it? Okay, all right. Now, you're going to take all those pictures and you're going to show it on your phone. Or you're going to text them what they look like. You're not going to show them the address. You're not going to give them the address. That's irrelevant. You're going to show them what it looked like. Then they're going to say, I like that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to drive by, step 9. When they say yes, you are then going to take them to the property again with the owner or ride them by it since they already seen pictures. Up to you. This time, get to see it because I was gonna say ain't nobody buying houses without seeing it, but I do that all the time, so don't worry about that because I don't need the numbers just need to work. I don't need to see nothing, but don't worry about that. That's a whole different type of buyer. That's not even a buyer. That's an investor. It's a whole different thing. All right. So anyway, you're taking them by. Everybody follow what I'm saying? You're gonna take them by. They're gonna say, "Oh." Deanna's gonna go, "Oh my God. This is so amazing. It's so beautiful. Look at the kitchen. Yay." Right? And then step 10, talk terms. Easy. Where did you find out the terms at? When you talk to the owner. You didn't find the address. You said, how much down? How long? What interest rate? I got you. You get it? Now, we're going to put out some numbers real quick. Put these numbers in chat. Don't put them in steps. Just put them in the chat. Now, the numbers are going to be $2,500 down, 10% interest. Comes out to $600 a month. It's what you're going to pay for, and I'm thinking Memphis price. I'm literally picking Memphis prices on purpose. I looked at your, okay, this is, all right. So $600 a month.
You're right.
Yeah, because I looked up the media, right? I looked up the media. $600 a month, and that's going to cover the taxes, the insurance, and the mortgage. Everybody got me? Now, those are the numbers we're going to work with. Step 11. Tell the renter you want $3,500 down. Look what I did. Well, I did just make $1,000. And if I got any closing costs, I made them pay for it. Now, I probably don't have, because this is for sale by owner, probably ain't gonna be no closing costs. But if I gotta fix an AC or something real quick, but if I don't got to, I'm going to McDonald's and supersizing it. I got $1,000. Everybody understand what I'm saying? I can afford a drink today. Actually, we're going to Chick-fil-A. We got Chick-fil-A money today. There it is. There it is. There it is. No, we're not going to Chick-fil-A. We're not going to Chick-fil-A. I'm going to charge them $3,500 down. Why didn't I? And Tony, why you ain't say $5,000? We could have got $5,000 because I want them in. I'm not trying to make no money on the front end. Antonio just won't let me do it without making money at all. Y'all hear what I said? Antonio just won't let me do this without making some money. That's it. Ain't no such thing as break even. And stop letting people tell y'all there's such thing as break even. If you break even, your business is going out of business. You're gonna tell the renter. Hold on, Grace. Retype step 11 because I'm gonna add more to it. Tell the renter you want $3,500 down, $800 a month. At least $800 a month, or fair rent for that area. And I'll explain why. At least, let me say it this way: at least $200 more than the mortgage. Right? More than what you have to pay. Are you following me? Am I saying it right? Basically, I'm trying to make sure you get an extra $200 free and clear every month. At least. So tell the renter that I'm going to, yes, $200 more than the mortgage, the taxes, and the insurance. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Yes. The reason why is because Jerome should be cash flowing $200 per month. At least. If you can't cash flow $200, get out the deal. You get it? Now, for $600 during this economy in Memphis, a 3-bedroom house in Memphis for $600 is going to rent for about $1,350. Now, watch this here. Everybody listen. Step 12. Charge full fair rent value. You must charge full fair rent value. Because if you ever go to court, you need to be protected. Don't let them make it on no late fees. You need to protect it. Because if you let them make it on one late fee and you try to then sue them for your money, the judge is going to say you did not uphold your agreement. Therefore, I cannot enforce it now that you want to uphold it because you're mad at them. Happens all the time. Maurice, no, I'm not lying. All right. Now, charge full rent value. Step 13 is a realizing thing. Here is why, put that, Grace. Here is why I'm charging full rent value. But here is why. Just put that. And then you're going to put number one, not a space, just 2 reasons why. Here is why. Reason number 1. It's all step 13, though. All right. Reason number 1 is because I want them to buy the property in 12 months. I'll explain. Reason number 2, because I want my money. Yes. Since you make an extra $200 when you could have made an extra $500. You got credit cards, don't you? Help me, somebody. You understand what I'm saying? Man, that Capital One hit you up every month. Yeah. Somebody else need to be paying Capital One. Now, those are the 2 reasons. Number 2 makes sense though. I want my money. I ain't got to break down number 2 for nobody. Everybody wants their money. And when you spend your money, you want your money's worth. I ain't got to break that down. Number 1 is what I need to break down very briefly. The reason I want Alicia to pay me $1,350, everybody listening? Because I'm going to convince Alicia legally, morally, and ethically. This is a good deal because it is. They only pay because we're talking about ownership. You're doing for sale by owner from them, from the person who holds it, and then they're doing a rent to own from you. Maurice got it, right? You're doing for sale by owner from them, and then the deed that you have, you're doing that with the deed. The lease you have with them is rent to own. Right? You got me? All right. I got you. You're doing for sale by owner. Owner financing is more accurate. You're doing owner financing with the house with the original owner. You're in owner financing with the original owner. And with your renter, you're in a rent to own agreement. You're basically in 2 agreements. And you can do that. That is legal because you're the one orchestrating the deal and you're the one taking all the risk. The renter has nothing to do. If they walk out, it ain't their fault. They can't. You are responsible for your owner financing. Since you have all the risk, you get to make all the money. Since the owner, the original owner is taking all of the risk, they get to foreclose on you at any time. Whoever takes more risk makes the most money. Now, okay, so yes. You want to convince them to buy the property in 12 months. Why? This is still in step 13. I'm giving you understanding. Because you don't plan on having this property for more than 12 months from the owner. The owner wants 2 things, cash flow and lump sum of money. So when you get into the for sale by owner deal, if they're selling it to you, that means they're not just looking for cash flow. They're expecting you to buy it. So you don't have to ask if they mind selling it, because if they didn't, it would just be rent only. You understand? All right, good. We got that understood. You're going to get it off of them for 12 months. But here's what you're going to do. I'm going to then, Alicia, you better write this down. You love what I'm about to say. Alicia's paying. She's got a bedroom, 2-bath, and a garage. I only paid $3,500 down. They was going to charge me $30,000 bank. I only need $3,500 down. It's just $1,300 a month. My landlord is cool, right? All this good stuff, and I'm ownership. And in 12 months, with all these on-time payments, I'll own this. And then I'm going to tell Alicia, when you buy this from me, you're going to save almost $800 a month. Taste the soup. Coming to America? Yeah, remember? Okay, all right. Because I want Alicia paying me full rent value, not just to get my money. I want her to know the faster you buy this from me, girl, is the faster you can go pay $600 a month. Remember, she don't know nothing about that $600 a month. That's what I'm paying. And I would say, listen, when you pay it, you're going to be projected at about $600 to $700 a month. And that's going to be taxes. That's going to be insurance. And that's going to be mortgage. And you're going to say, wow. And Alicia's going to say, well, I'm finna hurry up and buy this from you. And I'm going to say, you should hurry up and buy this from me. You get it? I made $1,000 on the front end from the down payment. Write this down, Grace. I made $1,000 from the front end from the down payment. I cash flow $500 a month for 12 months. That's $6,000. I made $7,000. That ain't no good deal. I cash flowed $6,000 and I made $1,000. That's not a good deal. I mean, it's not a great deal, but it's a good deal because I ain't losing no money. I got $6,000. But I only got $2,500 in the property. Actually, I ain't got nothing in the property because I didn't use my money. Don't forget that. Let's not forget that. So I basically got an infinite return. But that ain't what we care about, Alicia. You asked how to retire. This is what we care about. The house costs $94,000. I rented to own it and sold it at $150,000 because that's its value now. I just made, Grace, the difference between 150,000 and 95,000. It sounds like 55,000, no?
Yeah.
Now, do you want that little measly $7,000 on the front end, or do you want that $50,000 on the back end? That's right. That's right. You get it? So now I paid off the $95,000. The original owner, walks away with $95,000. They ain't got no problem with that. They walk away with $95,000. I walk away with $55,000 at a year. Remember, amateurs focus on money on the front end. The wealthy focus on money on the back end. That is my lesson for the day. We'll do tax liens, Alicia Clapping. You very welcome. Did I teach you the blueprint? You do that 5-6 times to see if you retire in 5 years. She said, unmute your mic and show them all them notes you got.
I got my notes. I'm going to get started in the Sunday paper.
I know that's right. Y'all see
I
that?
got my notes.
That's it. I did that. That's how I got here.
I'll let you know.
That's
Keep you informed.
You let me know. Look, I want some of this water. When you say get all that money, only thing you owe me is a couple of bottles of these right here. That's all I want. That's all I want. Couple of them bottles. That is it. I ain't even tripping. You can keep your money and just give me a case, the 6-pack or something. I don't know, right? However it is in CVS or something. However it come in there. I don't know how it come. Go to Sam's maybe or something. I don't know. That's it. We'll do right now. In fact, I'll write it down. Tax liens. We'll cover tax liens and other stuff tomorrow, next Tuesday for Kiera. Kiera, this beat is automatic super. Sierra, no, I know. I was just saying. All right. Anyway, Maurice, take it home, man. Add value to that with all your knowledge. And take it home for us. You got the last words.
Thank you. The best takeaway from what you just mentioned was for the part that of how what you did was in between that you added. I can't tell you how many times I've taken on a property as a management that the owner don't know that in 12 months the importance of getting the actual value of so that 1350 brought the property value up. So a lot of times homeowners that may not know that what they have as value, they don't know that, well, yeah, I'm keeping the rent low because they pay me. I know them. And so they keep the rent $600-700 a month, not realizing that they're affecting the actual value of that property, that the value is in charging the rents that you should be getting each month, increasing the monthly rent each month. So it's not even like what you did was, and I mentioned last week about the book that I read was how buying real estate when you're broke and bankrupt. One of the very first things they mentioned was go in and do exactly what Antonio said. Go into that property, pick up the phone and call as if you got the money to buy it, and get that person to have you. They said to call in one of the instances, said call a real estate agent, get them to take you to show you the property, and get in and walk in there and remove that fear of that, overcome that fear of with the property. So walking into it and removing that, and you walk into it and then you take the pictures, and it's, owning that process, I guess, is the main point. Owning the process of, again, I bought my first property. I didn't have the money. I had $1,000. Well, I had it at the end of the week. I had at the end of the week, I knew I was a barber, so I knew I would make that. By Saturday, I had the $1,000. I would be able to cut that check on Monday. So I went into that process doing that, went into the property as if I could afford it, and I was able to afford it, put the down payment, and the rest happened throughout the process. But, what I liked about this is you actually made the value in between. You made the value, you brought it up. And that's what, that's at the core of it, is really is increasing the value and getting, and its highest and best use is the language that we like to use in real estate. Is highest and best use is at the core of when you're dealing with real estate. And as any investor, that's your sole purpose, is to get that property and bring the value of it up. And one of the most overlooked things, I think, is not collecting the right amount of rents. The correct amount of rents you should be collecting, on a monthly basis. So that was one of the points that stood out in finding in going through that process. And I think the 2 points is owning the process, going to that property, and identifying the properties that, find those properties that are owned, free and clear, and that maybe, it be owned free and clear, or that the process will work for. So it's not going to be every property that'll work for it, but there's going to be specific properties that the process would definitely work.
Right, and I'm only looking for those. I'm only looking for the ones that solve my broke problem.
That's right.
Right. Yeah, I'm not. I don't need every property in Memphis. I need the ones that solve my problem. I'm Alicia. I'm trying to retire in 5 years.
Nice.
Now let me ask you a question to add value back to stay in the same lane. What do you think about step 2 when I immediately put transfer my debt up front? What do you want to say to that, add to that, and what's the importance of that?
Okay. You're talking about identifying the renter, right? Or
That's right. That's right.
So So again, one of the examples that I can just speak to, when I first got into the business, I didn't have any inventory, but what I did was there was inventory out there. I put in an ad. That's invaluable, is to have your end user or whether it's going to be, at that point it was Craigslist. Craigslist was popular then. And, now most people stay away from that for tenants and stuff like that, but there's other places. You have different apps, other places that you can utilize to run your ads on. And that's invaluable, is to have that end user. And then what'll happen is you'll be getting phone calls all the time for tenants, and because you'll be known as the person that has places for rent. And especially in this economy right now, the way I'm gonna say this is that a lot of things is geared towards renter. There's some companies out there that is very dominant in the industry of ownership, and ownership is not really popular in certain, this what we're doing here is probably, it's just, I can't stress the importance of it. So, but with it being so popular for tenancy to be, ownership is not really all that popular. It's important to find a way to make it a reality, right? So I'm just saying that so what I did was I placed an ad. I married the two together without, it was perfectly legal. Like you said, I didn't put an address there because technically, if I didn't put an address, I had 3 bedroom, 2 bath, and put it out there that this is available. You're going to get a ton of calls. Then at that point, you're going to, qualify them, and, and all that starts a whole nother step, but you're going to get a ton of calls. That way you have an arsenal of people, on standby for you when you when you complete the other steps, which is to get the property. And in real estate language they call that where you have possession of site control. Think of it, site control. When you get site control, and that's really language for where we talked about the commercial stuff in another, but it's the same principle in residential. To get to the steps here without any of your own money. And you're really marrying the process. You're marrying the process of a person that has a property, they've lived in it, they own it free and clear. The ideal step would be a person that owned it free and clear, they lived in the property, and now that you have a tenant for the property, and you're gonna, make that work. So I think that's about it. That's a good
breakdown. No, that's a good breakdown, and that puts us at our hour. I think we added a lot of value. Next week, we'll do tax liens, so we'll be ready for that. And we'll help out Kira with that. Kira, if you want to call and ask questions before then, you're more than welcome. We'll take care of you. Maurice, man, this is pretty good, man. Lots of value here.
Yeah.
Is everyone okay with that? Y'all okay with the value you're getting? We're taking you from the beginning, but we're also making it advanced and practical as well. Good stuff. Well, y'all know me, Antonio T. Smith Jr. You can plant better. You can dominate. We'll see you later, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Pam Norris, for being up before the sun is up. Lee, you and God are up. That is it.
Yeah, pitch black.
That's it. All right, everybody. Hey, everybody. You may not know it, but you probably not subscribed to my videos. I appreciate you for even making me a community. Team ATS, we are here. There are 3 things that I am accomplishing and changing the world, or at least aiding to change the world. Here's thing number 1. Every single time that you watch one of these videos and every single time you subscribe, you help boost this community and help me give out a whole lot more information for free. Another thing that you're doing, and this is probably most important, you help me pay for salaries, okay? Team ATS, the minimum wage for Team ATS, the people who work here, is $22 an hour. That's pretty cool, right? Every time that you subscribe, buy something from me, or now I'm going to ask you to go to my Patreon page and give a donation. That could be $1 a month, $3 a month, $5 a month, or if you like me, $25,000 a month. I appreciate you who's going to do that. 100% of every donation that comes through goes to salaries or video production, which is the second thing. You know, look, this is 4K content, right? All this stuff costs money. So instead of me taking money from people, what I'm doing is I am literally creating salaries and using this money for production and more salaries. I don't use the money for me. I am literally helping people, bringing people out of poverty. I specialize. I am so excited about group economics that I typically hire people with felonies or need a second chance, or someone, the daughter is 15 years old and they need insulin. I love those kind of people because they're hungry and they need an opportunity. So please go to Patreon, okay? Go over there right now. I'm not sure where my editing team is going to put it. It could be over here. Click one of these things. You know what I'm saying? Go over there and do a donation. Now, that's if you can. If you can't, don't worry about it. Just set me to see first, put on the notifications, click that alert bell if you're on YouTube, however you find me, and you'll be helping that way. But if you have $1 to spare, $5 to spare, $10 to spare, I promise you, you'll be aiding people in salaries. Let's stay together. Now, if you're on the same vibration with me, if you're trying to raise the higher consciousness of this world, if you believe, if you be faithful to the few, you'll become rulers over many. If you vibrate at that frequency, let's be faithful. Let's, give $1 or $2. Let's help somebody else so the universe can help us. I really appreciate you. Team ATS is in the building to stay. A third thing that I'm doing, because I promised you 3, is I've actually started my own Oprah Winfrey network, but ATS network. So expect to see a whole lot more content. Expect me to start paying content providers and content creators. Expect me to give people a platform where they can get paid for their videos. I really appreciate you. I'm so grateful for you. Let's make this community one of the most popular and one of the most paid communities so we can pay others. I give you my word. 100% of the money that's drawn from these videos goes to creating salaries or upgrading equipment. Antonio T. Smith Jr., you can plant better. You can dominate. Hey everybody, guess what? I'm disrupting the network marketing, or also known as the multi-level marketing industry as well. ATS Network. It is the brand newest multi-level marketing company that's getting so much media attention and breaking records all over the world. Why? I'll give you 6 reasons why. For one, it's free to join. That's right. If you want to make money with us, you don't have to pay a dime to join us. Number 2, there's no auto ship. That means there's nothing that I'm charging you, and there's also no customer volume requirement. That means you don't have to order $199 worth of a product to get this, whatever, right? If you want all your residual income, it costs you nothing
per month, whether it be auto ship or customer volume requirements for you to get in here. Number 3, you don't have to pay monthly for your website. That's right. No $24.95 a month or all this stuff like that. Number 4, there's no obligation or any incentive for you to recruit anyone. Now, I probably should have led with that. Let me say that again. I have the only network marketing company in the world in which you don't have to go out and get three, and all that stuff like that. No recruitment whatsoever. Your mom, your grandmother, or the lady next door can do this. Number 5, you never have to get promoted or recruit anyone to get the highest level of residual income. Since I don't have distributors and since I don't require you to recruit anyone, guess what? The moment you come in, you can get top level residual income. And finally, you only have to be an active customer to make money with the company. Check out the show notes. Probably the first link, Antonio T. Smith Jr. If you want to be one of the 100,000 millionaires that I want to create, this is where you should be. ATS Network. Link is in the show notes. Love you. You can plant better. You can dominate. I have felt so much in life. I've been so evil. I've done everything in life to mess it up. And I have. I have completely messed this life up. And then I changed. And then I started applying things that I didn't know, but I always knew. You call it the law of attraction. Or maybe you don't. Or maybe you're religious and maybe you're not. Here is what I know. I know that we all have a karmic debt to pay off. And I have either paid mine off or almost off. And now I dedicate my entire life to you. Please know that as my life is dedicated to you, it means I get beat up a lot. But that's what this is about. It is about people like me putting their gains at risk for you. The crazy thing about life is once we get enough, whatever enough means, if you're a politician, it's enough votes. Someone likes money, enough money, whatever enough is. A pastor, enough members, we tend to protect it. This podcast is not about protection. It is about you. I sincerely believe in you. I know you're going to be it. I know you're going to do it. Whatever that is for you. There are no mistakes. I want you to share this podcast, but not for personal gain. I want you to share it because I am giving you my every being so you can turn around and do the same for others. I give away me, and then you give away you. I lower me so you can stand on my shoulders, and then you return the favor and you lower yourself so someone else will stand on your shoulders, and then voila. No one is lower than the other because we've all lowered ourselves. Finally, the music in this podcast that you're going to hear, I hope it gets stuck in your head. It's actually from my favorite movie, Cloud Atlas. It's the cover. It's not the original version, but it sounds just like it. Cloud Atlas is a great movie by the Wachowskis. My second favorite movie is The Matrix, but that has nothing to do with this right now. It is about repeating the same mistakes. And so I'm hoping subconsciously that as you repeat the same mistakes, Cloud Atlas is mostly about ascending from those mistakes. So I'm hoping the words, the music, the melody, everything helps you ascend to where you're supposed to be, which is where you've always agreed you wanted to be before you got here. I love you. This is the Secret to Success, Law of Attraction. I really, really know that this will be a blessing, a lifesaver to many people. Antonio T. Smith Jr., you can plan better. You can dominate.